Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a great show for you tonight. Madeline Martinez is here. She's the director of Oregon NORML on NORML's National Board of Directors and a co-chief petitioner along with myself on the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act petition. We also have Mr. Tim Pate, singer and artist extraordinaire. Hi, Tim.
Good evening, everyone.
He'll be adding a little musical touch to our show tonight, as he always does. We have a film clip from The Magic Weed, a British documentary about cannabis, some other clips from the THCF Medical Garden, and others. This show is a production of our nonprofit organization, the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation, or THCF, and our affiliated political committee, Campaign for the Restoration and Regulation of Hemp. We had a great hemp stalk this past weekend, as we had, any of our viewers last week saw the luminaries on our show. It was one of our most fantastic shows, but we've got another good one for you tonight. We'll be back with it in just a second after we bring on the infamous Dancing Cannabis Leaves.
What do you get?
Okay, how are you, Tim?
Well, you know, it's been a long week of recovery. It was
I know that hemp stalk was tiring.
Hemp stalk was fantastic. We had such a wonderful event last weekend. We had, in my opinion, we set history. We had more people than we've ever had at an event of that nature in Oregon. And we had, in my opinion, the most incredible lineup I've ever seen on stage here as well, along with John Trudell and Amy Nelson and Kathy Guthrie and the Herbivores. And I know I'll forget somebody, so I'm not going to go on down the list. But it was an incredible weekend. We had wonderful volunteers who really spent countless hours preparing for this throughout the last year, and then
thank you to our volunteers.
Oh, absolute big time thank you to all our volunteers. I was the event coordinator, and I could not have done it without the help of every single person who stepped in, from people who worked all year round to those amazing homeless people. I don't even know their full names, who stepped in and helped us on Monday and did all the cleanup, and I was so happy with the turnout and the crowd and the response. There were no police citations, no
hardly any
police arrests.
Presence.
There was the police. We'd had an agreement with the city for 3 years that we did.
Right.
If we had towed the line and did what the city asked us to do and showed them that we could perform a good show, they wouldn't put that restriction on us anymore to have the police. And this year they proved that back to us by our 4th year, not having to have a police presence, and it made the show really a calm, graceful weekend for everyone around. I know that we sold out all our booze, and it was just one of those things that you're grateful for the good weather, and who knows whether we're going to be at that same location next year. And wherever we're at, I know we're going to tweak some of our processes, because you always find whenever you grow, there's certain areas that that hurt some when they grow. So,
well, big breakthrough was the artists that were there, particularly John Trudell and Amy Nelson and Kathy Guthrie. They each, and the Human Revolution, all the artists basically went back saying, we're going to help these guys some more. And John Trudell is going to come now to the Oregon Medical Cannabis Awards in December.
Absolutely.
I was just told by Willie Nelson's road manager that Amy Nelson was just thrilled and is asking her dad to start supporting us. So,
well, I'm glad to hear that. We really,
there's some breakthroughs.
I had an opportunity to get to know Amy and Kathy a little better while I was there, and we had some time together, and I was very grateful that they came.
Yeah.
I was grateful that they listened to my email the first time and paid attention, because you get so many nuts calling, and one of their songs is about that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just glad they paid attention to us, and they said, hey, that's a good idea, because by the time they were done, they told us that we had just pampered them all weekend long, and that they were also very interested in never missing another one. And then
they had a fantastic set.
Absolutely.
They sound stellar.
They did. They
have great harmonies.
Yes.
It's just a fantastic
I went home and I got their CD.
act.
They gave me a CD, of course, and autographed it and everything. And I went home and I listened to it, and I gave it 5 stars right off the bat. I don't do that for everyone's CD, but I certainly did theirs. But because my voice is so hoarse tonight, I really used it up last week, and I'm not going to subject anybody to my singing tonight. But I do have a little ditty I think I'll play. So
All right.
here we go. That's it.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
How are you this week, Madeline? You recuperated
I'm
fully?
recuperating myself, yes. I think we're all pretty burnt out from
My voice is a little rough, but we've managed to go and have our first clinic in Las Vegas, which was a big success there in Tinseltown. It was all the bright, shining lights, but we helped a number of patients and made connections with Nevada Normal.
Great.
And
how are they doing out there? Are they growing?
Yeah, they are.
Good,
It's
good.
in an earlier stage. They just barely have 1,000 patients in Nevada right now, but I'm sure we'll at least double that in the next year. And given 2 years, we'll have it by a factor of 4.
Well, I'm certain they have a lot more people than that who are hurting in Nevada.
The patients we saw that first day were some of them were in such terrible shape. It just feels good to be able to help them.
Exactly, I'm sure it does.
Our first caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes,
we hear you.
I have a primary care doctor, and he doesn't approve of me smoking marijuana. I went down to get the application so he can sign it. He doesn't want to sign it, and I'm taking pain medication. He says either I can take the pain medication or I can just smoke. He assigned it if I, you know what I'm saying. He assigned the card or the.
Well, you should work out some sort of an agreement. If you're interested in doing that, I recommend working out some sort of agreement where you don't just go cold turkey on the pain medication, because it's going to take a while before you have a crop and are ready to harvest and everything. You should ask him if he's willing to sign it, and then once you start to have marijuana available, if he'll slowly wean you off those narcotics that he's hooked you to. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know that, but he's like...
If you don't want to, though, we have doctors who are willing to help you. Of course, if you're on some kind of pain management contract, you're probably subjected to drug testing, and you might run afoul of those tests.
Yeah, he does take UAs.
Yeah. So I would discuss it further with him. and ask him if he's really willing to sign this recommendation, if he will help you get off the other drugs, not just cut you off cold turkey. And he needs to realize how long it takes for a crop of cannabis to come to harvest, and realize that you're going to need his support during that period. And if he's not willing to help you, or you don't want his help, you can look for other pain management clinics, or you can contact us, and we'll be happy to refer you to a physician who can help you get medical marijuana.
Well, yeah, that's what I was actually willing to do. You know, I've been going through them for a couple of years now, you know, and the pain medication is, you know what I'm saying, it does a little bit, but, you know, I was smoking marijuana, but then he told me that if I smoked marijuana and take pain medication, he'd just cut me off the pain medication, and then I'm basically...
Going cold turkey is a very hard thing to do. Some of those things you can't go cold turkey on. You have to be weaned off of them, and he probably knows if you are on a drug like that and would have to undergo that kind of procedure. But if you need help finding a doctor, you know, we have doctors throughout the whole western United States and into the Pacific, and can help you. And just give us a call here in Portland. The number is 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. If you're outside of Portland, we have a toll-free number. That's 1-800-723-0188.
Yeah, I stay in Portland. So I guess that's what I'm going to have to do, is just give them a call and see if they can hook me up with a doctor.
Yeah, I know we can. We have lots of them ready to go.
I appreciate your time, sir.
You're welcome. I hope we can help.
Okay.
If you're out there and you have a question for us tonight, you can give us a call at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We'll be taking calls for the next 45 minutes or so. So I know it's hard to get it through. Wait till the caller hangs up and try then. That's the secret. One of the secrets, anyway. Or have some kind of...
Forgetting that one guy who said he'd been calling for 2 years and tried 500 times before he made it through.
Yeah.
So it must be pretty hard, but
you
keep trying. Keep trying, because we're here.
If you have the right phone system, sometimes you're lucky.
Yeah.
Some people have some advanced phone systems and they get through a little bit more quickly. But if you're just with the regular old standard phone out there, it can be difficult. But give us a call. If you got a dial-up, you're really in trouble. Yeah, they say our show, from phone calls and ratings, is one of the most popular here in Oregon, the most popular cable access show. And it's also, according to the vote in Denver, most popular cable access show in Denver, Colorado, too.
Hello, Denver.
Hi, Denver. I'll be out there next week.
Yep.
We have another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Hello?
Hello.
I'm calling about my friend that was kicked off the liver transplant list this week.
Oh, hi.
Hey,
thanks for calling. Kim?
Yeah.
Kim, hi.
Yeah, so we helped Pam this week, and we're going to try to... would you just kind of explain? She was tested positive for using medical marijuana.
Yes.
And they've kicked her off the Providence transplant list.
Yep. And basically, they didn't actually put her on it. They just said she wasn't a candidate because she tested positive, which I think is just totally outlandish. But
yeah, that really is. That's like a death sentence. And, you know, in our clinic over the past 5 years, as I think I might have told you, I've seen 25 people come and pass on. And just a few months ago, we had a great amount of interest from the media, and they were looking for a patient, just like Pam's situation. Unfortunately, all the ones I've known are dead now. So,
yeah, well, we're not going to take that sitting down.
Yeah, so we're going to help you fight it.
Yep.
Have we been able to help much yet?
You know what? You guys are a gift. Without you, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. And we're looking forward to going after this and fixing it.
Yes. All right. Well, we really appreciate your help. And
you know what? I just wanted you to basically enlighten the people about this.
Good.
And if you need me, you got my phone number, so you guys can call me whenever you want.
Okay.
What else can we do for them?
Well, we're in the process of looking. They're going to be at the Oregon Medical Marijuana, the Oregon Normal Medical Marijuana meeting tomorrow.
Oh, good.
So we'll help them there. We're talking to various media outlets, and we're going to take this bull by the horns and hopefully wrestle it to the ground so that other people don't have to be faced with death simply because they decide to use medical marijuana.
Would you tell Madeline that she was awesome yesterday and helped me out a lot?
Right on. Madeline, You were awesome yesterday, and you helped her out a lot.
All right.
Hey, Kim, I'm sitting right here. Thanks.
Okay, well, I'll see you guys in the morning, and thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
I look forward to it, Kim.
Yeah, tomorrow's the Oregon Normal meeting at Mount Tabor, 4811 Southeast Hawthorne. Come out and help us if you've got cuttings or excess medicine. We share excess with as many people as we can.
Yes.
And we need all the cuttings we can get out there because we get about 200 people on a regular basis.
And almost all of them need a cutting.
And everybody needs a cutting, exactly. So if you have any and you're out there, we're a self-sustaining community. So we need your help.
It's at the corner of Southeast 49th and Hawthorne, the Mount Tabor Theater. And you have to be there by 11:30?
Well, the doors open at 11, but they also lock at noon.
So if you're not there by noon, you're not going to get in.
And, if you come from far away, you should really come a little early because
it's crowded.
It gets pretty crowded.
You want to get a seat, you want to come early.
Exactly. But we're lucky enough to have great volunteers. And it's always the same volunteers. Isn't it amazing?
It's amazing, yeah, like behind our cameras. Hi, folks.
Hi,
and, in our control room and running the hempstock, it's a lot of cross-pollination here among our activists.
Usually they run into the studio. Tonight they were kind of
it's been a hard
but they're here and they're behind the cameras, so we salute you. It's important.
And I got to talk about Sylvia, who took care of our kitchen. You were great. I just got to tell you.
I had a couple of artists say that too. Tell the lady who was running the kitchen, she just did a fabulous job catering. And
fabulous.
She planned for it for months, and it was quite a success.
One of the things I like, we had meat.
Yeah, we bought half a cow. We had somebody donate some money, and then we paid the rest. And
ended up in my freezer until we brought it out here.
And then we had some Native Americans bring us some fresh-caught salmon from the Puget Sound. Delicious. I bought a little bit for my freezer at home now. Yeah. We have another caller, though. Hello, caller. You are on the show.
Well, hi, Paul. How are you? I'm a medical card holder, and my crop hasn't come in yet, so I was just curious on how I could go ahead and get a hold of some medication until my crop comes in.
That's a good question. There's a couple of ways that you can do that. One is to come to the Oregon Normal meeting tomorrow or every other Saturday. It's the second and fourth Saturday?
Correct.
At the Mount Tabor Theater at the corner of Southeast 49th and Hawthorne. They give away all the medicine. We take some and give them to them, and a lot of other people do as well. Then we also have some forums on our website for patients only, where patients help each other with medicine. It's becoming quite popular. It's we're up to a couple thousand people subscribed to the forums now, and so it's really taken off in the past couple months.
Outstanding.
So that's for a patient-only forum, and if you're a patient, you can get that password and log in through our office just by calling 503-281-5100. And you'll have to come in actually and show your ID or provide some sort of documentation that you're a medical patient, or if you can prove over the phone that you're a patient that was seen by one of our doctors, then we can possibly give it to you over the phone.
I see. Thank you very much. How are the Octa signatures going, by the way?
They're going. We're collecting. We're going to be out at the Spearhead concert tomorrow night at the Roseland.
Who is it that turned in 600 signatures a few weeks ago?
Just the other day, a nice couple that's been collecting them. They came to our volunteer training.
We don't have a hard count yet, but my guess is that we're somewhere in the 3,000 to 4,000 range.
Yeah, that's what I'm approximating. Yeah. What we're waiting for is our attorney Paul Loney's got them, and he's counting them up.
He's going to be issuing the official counts.
Yeah, soon.
Well, good. And he's in charge of that.
So I hope you're out there gathering signatures because it's going to take a whole bunch of us. Steady gathering signatures. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, we need 83,000 valid signatures. That means we need to turn in about 140,000 signatures to be sure we qualify. And I'm really hoping we can do that in a record time. Back in 1985, we started gathering signatures in July of 85, and we qualified the Oregon Marijuana Initiative by October of 85, and that set a record. We qualified for the vote more than 13 months before the vote, and I'm hoping we can break that record with the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act and start deciding how to win the campaign.
Well, we're expecting to get some up from Southern Oregon as well. We've got a lot of people out there in Ashland and
we've been sending them out. We're in a lot of stores. We have
exciting.
Iko, who's been working on our website, has raised, I think, about 2,000 friends
Yeah.
And a lot of those are stores and businesses that can circulate the
And what's really exciting from Hempstock was that John Trudell endorsed it.
John
Keith
Trudell
Strong endorsed it.
Yes.
Amy
And
Nelson,
Amy
and
Nelson,
Kathy Guthrie, and
Human
Human
and-
and the Human
yeah,
Revolution.
everybody-
Those guys are great, by the way. You
Yeah,
gotta
they
check
were
them
really.
out.
I had to buy their CD.
Yeah, I had already had one, but I bought the others.
Yeah, they were great.
Well, hey, I wanted to say thank you very much, and you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the great effort that you're doing. Let's pass this Oregon Cannabis Tax Act to make it legal for everyone, because this
Amen.
is just getting crazy. It's getting out of hand, and
It really
we
is.
need a
Too many
change. And
families
we
have
are
been
the
broken
change.
up.
You know, let's
We
renounce
are.
this
You
plan.
got it.
Thank
we
you.
are the
Thank you
change.
for your
Okay,
support.
let me get off of here and let some other caller on the phone.
Thanks, dude.
May I just mention that we had great coverage by Channel 12, Marilyn
Yeah,
Doyle.
yeah. They even
She did
played a
great
clip
job.
from Hemp for Victory, the
Isn't
1941
it
U.S.
amazing?
Department of Agriculture film. It really was.
I
really was.
Really, I think it was priceless, because how many people had never seen Hemp for Victory now have seen it and realized that, in fact, it is part of our history.
Mm-hmm.
America's roots are hemp roots. Our country was founded on hemp.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and the hard work of immigrants, and we've just got to face the facts as they are, accept that, and move back to our roots. We have to move back to those hemp roots to save our planet.
So true.
I mean,
It really
without our
is.
mother...
That's what it's all about.
Right.
Is restoring hemp as an industrial resource for oil, for food, for fiber, for energy, for all the 50,000 or 100,000 different products it can make out there.
I think something John Trudell said last week really sank in deeply for me, and that it's medicine for the planet.
Exactly. I was going to say the same thing, Ted.
Yeah, that was really that's an important statement, I think.
Right.
Yes.
And his idea of exponential growth is a good one we're trying to implement now through our website, and that's tell 10 friends. You know, you're in favor of it, you get 10 friends, ask those 10 friends to get 10 friends, and it doesn't take long before we're the majority, baby.
Exactly.
We have another caller. Hello, caller, you're on the show. Hello.
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 Hey.
How's it going?
It's going good. My question is I'm a new card holder,
Congratulations.
and I was worried about my privacy.
Right.
And now I know that I have to go down here to the city hall to pay money and give them my paperwork.
Not City
Not
Hall.
City Hall, it's
That's just
Department of
somebody
Health.
else now
Health
that's going to
Department.
know about me. So I was just kind of worried about that.
Well, let me tell you something. Just about, what was it? It was in April of 2007. I got a subpoena for our medical records from the federal government, from U.S. Attorney in Yakima, of all places, and the DEA wanted 17 patients' records. And at the same time, the Oregon Health Department got a subpoena from the same federal grand jury and the DEA. And both the Health Department and we went to court, and we being the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation. And we got the aid of the American Civil Liberties Union, and we went into federal court and we argued that it was unreasonable for us to produce this private information. And the state of Oregon and the Attorney General of the state of Oregon went into federal court with us and joined our case, and they argued that it was unreasonable for them to produce this private protected information. And the chief judge for the Eastern District of Washington wrote an opinion that quashed those subpoenas, and he said that they were unreasonable and would violate significant state and private medical interests. And he wrote that the THCF clinic is integral to the implementation and the success of the state medical marijuana program, and therefore those medical records are protected. So your medical records are very carefully protected, and we hold that as a sacred honor, and the state of Oregon also went into court and fought alongside us to do the same.
Well, what about the records at the city hall?
Well, they're not City Hall.
City Hall.
It's the State Health Department. And you don't give them to City Hall. It goes over to this Oregon building, and that's a state building at 800 Northeast Oregon Street.
Right.
It goes to the State Health Department. That's not City Hall. City Hall's on the other side of the river in the city building. This is a state
what
office
keeps
building.
them from letting other people into our records there?
Everyone who works in that office has to sign a privacy agreement and a non-disclosure agreement, just like people in our office have to as well. And those records are carefully protected, and we'll make certain that we'll fight them wherever we have to fight them
Aren't
to
they
make
also
certain.
subject to the HIPAA laws?
Yeah, well, they're subject to those medical privacy
Right.
laws as well.
Yeah, they're super standards. They're on top of these laws as
So
well.
are we subject to surprise visits?
No, there's no
inspections.
inspections allowed, and you still have all of your rights to be free from unreasonable search and seizure.
Sure.
Oh, I see. I just
So-
worried about my privacy. You know,
I
I've
understand.
had privacy all these years. I just hate to throw it out there to somebody else to pick it up. You
Exactly.
Well, you know, it really has worked out as a blessing. I've had in fact, during the Hempstock Festival last Sunday night, I have a garden. And because I have a lot of plants there, not a lot, but quite a few, I have people guarding it. And during the last set, the police came to our garden. And they wanted to go inside the garden. It smells from a block away. It's an outdoor garden. I have an 8-foot fence with 3 feet across hatch, so it's a 12-foot tall barrier around it so people can't see it. But I told them, I'm too busy, you can't go in, and they went away and left us alone. I gave them my name, my address, and told them it's my garden. If they had any questions, come down to the waterfront, I'd be happy to answer them. And when I started, I told the people, my guards there, to give them the information about some attempted break-ins that we've had recently. By the way, thieves, we know where you live now.
Oh, right.
But yeah, we've tracked them down.
Good.
But and
what
we
I
have
worry
people
about,
watching
you
it.
know.
But the police went away and left everything alone. Didn't go in, and just me telling them on the phone they couldn't come in was good enough.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you for the understanding. I appreciate it.
Sure, yeah.
Sure, you're
No, that's
welcome.
a good
I can
question.
understand. I was afraid at first.
too.
Let me tell you.
We
I'd
all
been
were.
through the ringer. I was acquitted in a federal trial where if I'd been convicted, I would have done 10 years. And so I know what it's like to stare down the barrel of that gun.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, and the barrel of a real gun too. But this program protects you, and it really is useful, and the state protects our rights as well.
Yeah. Well, I hope you can understand where I'm coming from.
Oh, I understand
I'm
completely. Like I
6
said,
years old, I don't
I
need no
was
trouble.
afraid at first too. When I first started growing with the medical permit, I was just so paranoid for about the first 18 months.
Exactly.
And since then, it's the whole weight of paranoia has gone away, and we show our plants on our TV show, and we talk about it in public. I take people on tours of the garden today. Chris Conrad and Mickey Norris came through, and they're going to be at the Oregon Normal meeting tomorrow if you want to come
Yeah,
down
I'm
there.
going to pay that
Meet-
$35 and get into the act there.
Yeah, and that covers you for 24 times. You get to come
a
every
year
2 weeks if you want to.
All right. Well, gentlemen, have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks for your call. Thanks. I'm glad we got an opportunity to.
May I take a minute and just let everybody see this? Can we get a close-up? This is coming up soon. It's the National Normal Conference. It is in Berkeley, California this year, and it is October 17th and through the 19th. They actually are going to have something on Sunday, but this says through the 18th, October 17th through the 18th, and you can go and find out more information about it at norml.org. It's really a great event.
It
There are
really is
different
very
panels.
inspirational.
You learn a lot about it. You also just can find out. You can see Paul and a lot of people there.
And Madeline
And Madeline.
and Keith Straub.
Yeah, I'll be
And
on one of the
everybody.
panels.
It'll be pretty exciting.
Politics and beyond.
I know our THCF gardener extraordinaire medicine man, who I think's in their screening calls, was invited to participate on a panel.
Oh, good.
But because it's during harvest, he's not able to go.
That's too
all
bad.
right about
Well, he did a great job on our panel. He was on
Yeah.
our a growing panel out there with Chris Conrad, and he did a great
Yeah.
job. So we were really pleased. He got to show some garden pictures, which was really, really nice.
Right on.
Yeah. Hey, we have another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Hi, my name is Bill, and I'm wondering, I've been for the last few years trying to get a card. I have metal in me. I've had 2 hip surgeries for chronic pain.
When's the last time you saw a doctor, Bill?
Basically about 2 years ago, and I have those records, but all they want to do is put me on pain medications, and I really don't believe in that.
Well, we have doctors who can help you. Those doctors specialize in cannabis, and so they're going to require that you continue some other form of medical care. You can't just see a medical marijuana specialist and not have any other doctors. You've got to maintain a regular medical care regimen, whether it's just a physical exam every 2 years.
Well, that's my question, because I actually have made an appointment, and it's for a checkup, and I can go in there and get all what I need. Is that enough? Just a basic checkup.
Yeah, and what you'd want is to get some record of the metal in your body from the accidents, I take it, that if you've had in the past.
Exactly.
And x-ray report or something like that, along with your recent medical records. And any of our medical marijuana specialists would be able to help you get a medical permit. And we have several of them, 6 that can help you right here in Portland. You can call that number there on your screen, 503-235-4606 for a referral. We'll be happy to help.
Don't forget, too, when you're talking to your doctor, that you discuss with him the level and frequency of your pain.
Okay.
Make sure he notes that in your chart. You talk about your pain and the history, and have, during the physical exam, point out any scars or anything, and see if he'll note those in his physical exam record.
Oh, they're huge. They're huge scars, so I know that won't be a thing. But maybe getting the old records might be kind of hard. Would it be, as long as he's a medical doctor and he says basically everything we need, then I can bring those records in?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, I appreciate your help.
Sure.
I love what you guys are doing. I watch all the time.
Thank you so much. We're really happy to be able to do it. We're proud to be able to help people such as yourself who are just trying to get a better quality of life.
We're in the same boat you're in. We just know what it's like to be on this side of the law now. It feels a lot more comfortable. So
talking about this side of the law, the reason I picked this up was because the 20 millionth arrest for marijuana is going to happen, and they've done the math somehow, and it's going to happen October the 7th. This gentleman here was the first man to be convicted of marijuana.
Oh, yeah, in Colorado back in 1937 or 38.
Samuel Caldwell.
Right.
And imagine how many people have gone through the ringer for marijuana, and we really think that it's time for it to come to an end, and that's why we're inspired to pass the OCTA.
Yeah. Too many people's lives have been ruined. Too many families have been destroyed. It's time to end the madness and legalize and regulate marijuana, which
20 million.
One of the safest plants on this planet. The plant that makes more fiber, more protein, more oil, and more medicine than any other plant on this planet, and we prohibited it. We have all these antique medical marijuana bottles from all the major pharmaceutical companies that prove it's been a medicine for thousands of years.
But that's why they're so afraid of it, because they're so...
It's not patentable. It's in the pharmacopoeia. They can't make money. They can make money. They just can't make the incredible profits of having a patented medicine that no one else can manufacture. But you can grow your too. We have a film clip. We're going to run it. This is from The Magic Weed, a production out of Great Britain from 2005.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Japanese immigrant farmers have increased production of the one cash crop, which has long been a virtual Philippine monopoly.
The invasion of the 2 big hemp-producing countries, China and Philippines, was the start of hemp rationing. Hitler was also aware of the strategic importance of hemp, which was used in the making of canvas and ropes, both of which were an essential part of his war effort. In 1941, when the German army invaded Russia, it blocked Britain's supply of Russian hemp. Germany managed to develop her own hemp production, but the cultivation of this fiber, which had become so necessary in wartime, was still banned in Great Britain. In 1942, the German troops reached the center of Russia. The land continued to produce hemp, which enabled Hitler to move confidently to the next stage of his plans for the Reich. To safeguard its own supplies of hemp, Great Britain urged India to increase production. Meanwhile, war was spreading to Japan.
Within little more than a year, Japan, successfully employing once again the deceit and treachery which had so well served her in the past, had taken the final desperate plunge.
When Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, forcing the United States of America to declare war, Americans realized they were cut off from their hemp supplies. The US Navy was totally dependent upon hemp for rot-resistant ropes for their ships and for many other components. The American government then decided to redevelop their hemp industry. Marijuana was legalized again and farmers received seeds. A propaganda film called Hemp for Victory was then made to encourage this war effort. Air forces were completely reliant upon hemp. Parachute straps, packs and belts were made out of hemp. No other available fiber was so strong and so reliable under combat conditions. After General MacArthur had forced the Japanese to withdraw from the Philippines, hemp production soon reached pre-war levels again. After the war years, a new world arose from the ashes of the old. India gained independence. Thanks to automation, India doubled its hemp production and increased its exports to America and the rest of the world. In peacetime, the United States once again banned the cultivation of hemp and cannabis, but at the same time imported millions of tons of hemp during the post-war economic boom to supply its industries.
For this is the Port of New York, a sprawling pattern of activity covering more than 1,500 square miles. Its 650-mile waterfront, an ever-changing mirror reflecting the work of the world and its needs and tastes. Grain from Canada, and fish from Portugal and Norway, tires from Akron, and hemp from India.
During the post-war years in France, hemp growing and processing went through a revitalized industrial revolution.
What is interesting to underline is the fact that in France hemp culture went on in spite of American prohibition. While prohibiting marijuana in the USA, they prohibited hemp too, and so you couldn't grow it anymore. In France, hemp growing went on. France was a very rural nation at that time, and remained so until the 50s. They continue to cultivate hemp there today. What happened was that synthetic fibers went on to become a huge development. And even in France, in a country where hemp growing was still legal, hemp began to widely decline, until the hemp textile industry finally died at the end of the 60s.
In the 60s, hippies began a worldwide movement calling for the legalization of cannabis. English and American rock stars encouraged people to smoke it. The Beatles, led by John Lennon, turned England on by singing openly pro-cannabis lyrics.
Revolution 69, I was there, it felt fine. Paris riot 68, dropped the tab and got there late.
The Rolling Stones' preference for Moroccan hashish brought them more fans, offering an alternative to the Beatles and to the fashion for things Indian. Hippies then decided to hit the road for Morocco.
Do you see the fields over there on the mountain? At this time of year, you can't find any other plant growing there, because this is the only crop that grows here. Can you see how easily it grows? You can find it even in front of the hotel. I think if these people had to choose a symbol, it would definitely be the hashish flower. I think they grow here at least 10 tons of hashish a year, so there must be other people than hippies who buy it. In Jamaica, the Rastafarian religion advocated smoking cannabis. They called it ganja.
Herb is the sacrament of the Rastafari Church, and basically through studying the Bible we understand that it's there for the healing of the nation. In other words, it can nourish the mind just as food nourishes the body. It's like a key that can open certain aspects of your mind, and the brain needs feeding just as the rest of your body does. But for me personally, it seems to tune you into a certain wavelength that you can't reach without it. Although I do understand that through certain meditations one can achieve these heights without smoking herb or taking any other drugs. But in the 20th century, I personally don't have the time, so it's like a shortcut to get to this place to help you be creative. And another thing I find really interesting about weed is how through the smoking of it or the trying to acquire it, it brings together people of different classes, backgrounds, cultures. And in bringing those people together, there's an exchange of ideas, and through that exchange, other things happen.
At the same time, cannabis was legalized in Holland. That's how Ben Dronkers was able to become the first legal producer of marijuana to become a millionaire.
Here we find different varieties that me and my colleagues, we tested out by once in a while looking at the plants and try them out. In that sense, it's a war where people can always look and go back to and say this variety had a certain smell or a certain aroma. Quality is very important, and it's the most important factor where we look at. Always people think also about quantities of material you can harvest, and of course it's very difficult to have a balance. You find plants with very large, big buds, and you find plants with smaller buds. But even the plants like this that have a very small bud is one of our basic plants we have for the breeding of many of the strong varieties that you can see on this side. That means that some of the strengths and some of the important potency we always try to bring back in one variety, and that is the variety that people buy in the shop. And that is the importance of good seed. Is like any farmer could know that that's the start, and then you end up with some good materials. The Sensi Seed Bank grows the best marijuana seeds in the world, I think, for many years. Also, we want to make the best hemp seeds from the world, and we're working very hard on that. For that, we made a new company that's called Hempflex, and Hempflex produced in the north of Holland on this moment last year 140 hectares of hemp, and coming year we want to go to 1,500 hectares. That is the minimum we want to do, and for sure later on we will have to do more. From that material we have produced last year, we're producing on this moment just the raw fiber and the wood materials. It comes out like that. And from the wood we have the plan to make cat litter and actually the same things like people want to do in England. It's beautiful wood, you can press from it.
All right, that is an excerpt from The Magic Weed, a production from Great Britain, and it's just chock full of fun facts and interesting things. You know, I first bought that DVD off of Amazon, and then I put it on, and the very first 5 minutes is about China. And I listened to it, and I could tell within 2 minutes they're reading from something I wrote. You know, it was an article I wrote in Hemp Today. They directly quoted it several times, so I was kind of shocked to see that, you know, I was listening to something on a video from England that I wrote. Anyway, put that aside. We have a caller. Hello, caller, you're on the show.
Yes, hi. I just moved to Portland from California.
Well, welcome home.
And I was a card holder out there, and I'm wondering what I need to do to obtain a card out here.
Well, we have a physician referral service and a number of physicians that can help you. Just call that number there on your screen, 503-235-4606, and they'll walk you through all the steps necessary to become a legal registered card holder here in the state of Oregon.
Outstanding.
Yeah, there's a lot of conditions that qualify for medical marijuana. One of the most common is chronic pain. And I'd say 60 to 65% of all the patients who have a medical marijuana card throughout the U.S. have it for chronic pain. Then next are probably gastrointestinal diseases like IBS, Crohn's disease, GERD, anything that causes chronic nausea. Then there's spastic conditions like multiple sclerosis or asthma, and seizure disorders like epilepsy, cancer, AIDS, glaucoma, or medical treatments that cause some of those conditions can also qualify. So if you have one of those conditions, or you know someone who does, then we have doctors throughout the western United States that can help you get a medical marijuana permit. Did that help?
Yes, sir. It helped a lot.
All right.
And I want to mention that many times you can have side effects from some of your pharmaceuticals that qualify you because of the nausea or some other condition or symptom of side effects. Bye-bye.
Yeah, if you're out there and you need a doctor's help, well, here in Portland, we've said the number several times. It's 503-235-4606. If you're up in Seattle, the number up in Washington is 206-878-1701. That's 206-878-1701. If you're in Denver, Colorado, the Denver number is 303-403-9996. That's 303-403-9996. In California, for our Riverside, California office, it's 951-782-9898. That's 951-782-9898. And for our brand new Las Vegas, Nevada office, the number is 702-202-0249. That's 702-202-0249. Now, if you're outside of those major metropolitan areas, then we can help you. We're soon to open in Montana as well. So if you're in Oregon, Washington, California, Hawaii, Colorado, Nevada, or Montana, give us a call at 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. And we plan on going farther east next year. So time will tell. We're spreading and growing like a weed.
Yes.
Like a weed.
Freedom's on the march, I tell you. Everywhere we go.
You know, I have a little bit of show and tell here. I wonder if volunteer extraordinaire Sylvia can come here and we'll... or hold it. First, we'll take a question. We have a studio audience member with a question. How are you doing tonight?
Wonderful. How are you?
Very well, thanks.
My question is, what happens if or when OCTA happens? What happens to the clinics? Will they still be running, or will there be a use, or how does that work?
You know, I think that medical patients who find efficacy through medical marijuana will still need them, but they won't be needed as much. A lot of people who can just buy it through the regular channels will go do that. But for the very sick people who need it, we'll still be there offering medical recommendations. And under OCTA, marijuana will be sold at pharmacies, and it'll be at cost. And I really think that cost is going to be $10 to $20 an ounce. There'll be access to lots of different preparations. I think pretty soon you'll see some cannabis medicines legal over the counter without any sort of doctor's recommendation. So under OCTA, people will be able to grow their own, and all seeds and starts of all the strains of cannabis will be legal and not regulated. And the only thing that will be regulated will be the sales to adults, and that'll be regulated so it's only to those over 21 and through state-licensed outlets and bars and coffee shops, things like that, to get the state license necessary. But medical patients will, for them, they should realize that the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act just expands the medical marijuana program. In fact, doctors will be able to recommend medical marijuana for anxiety and depression and PTSD and all the other conditions that we haven't been able to get the state to certify here in Oregon, but which doctors in California have always been able to use. In fact, Dr. Todd McMaria and Dennis Perrone, back when they were writing the California medical marijuana law, looked at the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act and used some of our wording for their very short initiative.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be great what it does for it. A lot of people out there that are patients are worried that it's going to affect the program, and I always tell them it's just going to expand the program, and you won't have to pay the fees to the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program, and you also will be able to grow because it does change the laws. It replaces some of the statutes,
Exactly.
but it also replaces the statute that says that you can't grow. So, people are very concerned. They say, well, it doesn't say anywhere in here that I can cultivate. I said, well, because it takes away the law saying that you can't cultivate. So, of course, you can. As law is written, it doesn't say what you can do. It says what you can't do.
Exactly. And so the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act will legalize the sales of marijuana to adults. It'll allow adults to grow their own without any license. It'll legalize the unregulated production and distribution of industrial hemp. And it will help medical marijuana patients through pharmacies the way we get all the other medicines they have.
And I think an important aspect of it is also that it's a part of the solution to our energy crisis, because if we get industrial hemp growing and we can get some of our hemp seed fuel and get it out there and show America that in fact we need to go back to our hemp roots and grow this, and again, medicine for the planet. Let's save our planet by doing this. So the Octa is really a vital part of the energy crisis as I see it.
Yeah, any farmer will be able to grow hemp for seeds and protein and oil. They can, according to these studies out of Notre Dame on feral hemp in southern Illinois, plants that have 3 to 5% THC produce 8,000 pounds or 4 tons of hemp seed meal. When you press 4 tons of hemp seed, actually not meal, you get 300 gallons of oil. That weighs about 2,000 pounds, and what's left over is 6,000 pounds of high-protein hemp flour. And so we'll be able to solve our energy problem. We'll be able to stop shipping our money in the greatest export of wealth in human history, as T-Bone Pickens tells us in his multi-billion-dollar advertising campaign or multi-million-dollar advertising campaign. Anyway, we'll be able to stop sending all our money to the despotic rulers in the Middle East and Nigeria, and bring that wealth home to our farmers.
Exactly. And also I wanted to mention, I'm just changing the subject here as I do, I just wanted to mention that the Oregon Medical Cannabis Awards is coming up on December the 13th. That's a Saturday. But right now what we're looking for is we have a call out to entrants. So if you're a grower registered with the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program or a caregiver that's growing a crop, we're very interested in you submitting your strain to be evaluated by 28 patients over a month's period. And it's really an accurate assessment of how effectively your medicine helps everyone's medical symptoms. It's pretty exciting.
It's a lot of fun, too, so you want to come down to that on December 13th. And if you're a medical grower, you can and have a card, you can enter that contest, too. It's a lot of fun and excitement.
Right, you have to send your ID, your OMMP card, along with your state ID or driver's license, and go online at ornorml.org and just click on the left side where it says Medical Cannabis Awards, Oregon Medical Cannabis Awards, and you can go right there, and the rules are there. Be sure and read the rules and send all the paperwork and get in there, because only those people that have the best crops enter the Oregon Medical Cannabis Awards.
That's right. And on an entertainment side note, John Trudell will be coming to that show this year. So if you missed him at Hempstock, you'll be there, and if you saw him at Hempstock, you'll get another chance.
And if you saw him at Hempstock, I know you'll be there.
He's my hero. He's has an exemplary life, an incredible poet and songwriter, and
it was an honor to meet him.
He's been fighting for freedom for 40 years, but we'll go back to that. I also want to remind our viewers out there that if you're a medical patient and you need help learning how to grow cannabis, the THCF medical clinics and our chief cultivator, the medicine man, has a number of classes every Wednesday night, and you can sign up for those classes. If you have a medical marijuana permit, then you're welcome to come to any one of the many classes, from beginning, intermediate, and advanced cultivation classes to making medical grade hashish and extracts. So contact us at 503-235-4606 if you're interested in taking the medicine man's gardening classes. So I understand we have another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to find out if you know the stance on the housing authority where medical patients are concerned.
You mean like for HUD housing and Section 8 housing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ruling here in Portland back about 5 years ago found that as long as a patient is only growing for themselves and only has a garden for one patient, then they can cultivate and possess medical marijuana in federally subsidized housing.
Thank you very much.
You know, a lot of people worry about the federal government, and we hear the myth that the federal government and the federal laws trump the state medical marijuana law. The fact of the matter is that the Controlled Substances Act, the federal law that makes marijuana illegal, says explicitly that state medical practices supersede the Controlled Substances Act, and if a state decides to regulate drugs differently than the feds, then the state is supreme. And that's how it is under the federal system of government. We have powers not explicitly granted to the federal government or retained by the people and the state. And so states have traditionally regulated medical practices, and that's why the feds haven't been able to crack down on us in Oregon and the other states that have state-permitted medical marijuana gardens.
And because we pay a tax or a tariff,
yeah,
our protection
the government's
money
part
fee.
of our thing.
Yeah.
Hey.
We do it. Hey.
Well, thanks for that question. You know, we're just about running out of time.
we are.
Is there anything you want to say in closing, Madeline?
Well, I want to remind everyone about the Oregon Normal cardholder meeting tomorrow, 11 a.m. The doors open. We need cuttings. Come out and support Oregon Normal. I'm sure Paul will be there, Mickey Norris, and Chris Conrad. Come on out.
Yep. We didn't get through these bottles again this week. You know, we'll have our show and tell some other time. Our longtime viewers have seen many of these. So stay tuned. We'll be back next week. Keep watching and help us restore hemp. And here's Mr. Tim Pate. Take us out into the evening.